Hell yeah. Recording is up. Hello, ladies, lords, and lasses, and welcome to my lovely little D&D stream in episode 32 of the Rains of Vitrium. It is your Dungeon Master, as always, the humble and ever-lovable Deathly Shad. And joining me are my lovely players. Agathar, say hi to the people.
Hi, I'm First Base Agathar.
Woo! Percival, say hi to the people.
Who's on second?
Hello, it is me, Percival.
And then we have Rensois.
Hello. He called my name as I put chicken in my face hole.
Hell yeah. And
I am Rensois. I am currently bedridden.
ooh. And then we
Soren is currently in denial.
And bedridden.
isn't he always?
And bedridden, yeah.
And then we have Soren. Say hi to the
I'm
people.
I'm also bedridden.
You guys are just being
It's a good thing you're still the
wimps.
tallest member of the party, though.
Oh no, he's not. Valen, say hi to the people.
Hi everyone.
Discord
This-
disconnect sound.
This is going to be an interesting go. Wonder what's going to happen first. Everyone gets out of bed, or we fight Rainier.
It's
Don't
gonna be a
worry.
long time till we fight Rainier.
Don't worry about it. You guys will be fine.
I don't like that,
let's
guys. I don't like that. We're gonna walk into the city and Rainier's just
You're the one that keeps giving him ideas.
gonna walk and sit. We're gonna approach the gates. Rainier's just gonna be leaning up against it like, "Sup, bitch."
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias, motherfucker. Alright. With all that being said and done, we can, of course, get to the episode. When last we left our heroes, Agathar the Kobold Necromancer, Percival the Halfling Divination Wizard, Rensois the Rabbit Folk Druid, Soren the... Rabbit Folk Monk. Soren the Rabbit Folk Samurai, and Valen the Rabbit Folk Cleric, the party went shopping!
Woo!
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Our
Something
wallets
I
are
got
crying.
Chaz.
Stumbling upon
Speak
a
for yourself. My wallet looks great.
Stumbling upon a group of travelers that were set up in front of them. Purchases were made, information bought, stories told, fortunes beheld, and with some ominous tidings, the party left the caravan behind with a new destination in mind. To both acquire a sword that they bought via story, and they are now on their way to Soren's Master's Hut. And also, Agathar got to first base.
He also made a bad joke and now it had to sleep on the couch.
Literal achievement unlocked. And now, we get right back into the action as the cart trundles along. So, it'll take you guys 3 days to get to Misaki's hut. So, in that time, if you guys want to do anything, say anything, have any little RP situations, by all means, go ahead. If not, then I can just skip on forward. I know that Soren had a pretty big reveal last session.
Yeah, and he would have, like, the other characters probably would have noticed him coming back to the caravan looking like he had a lot on his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Either a lot or some things that were just very, very big.
That's where he has to use the bathroom.
Yeah, Agathar probably would have definitely clocked that and like, oh no, he's having another panic thing. I think he would have probably... A lot happened yesterday, so I think maybe Agathar would let that happen for the day, and I think he would check up on him next day.
All right, do that then.
Yeah, so probably sometime the next day, Soren, would you probably be in your like bed for the most of the day, or what would Soren do the next day?
Well, he'd fail his Constitution check, as he tends to do.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. I'm just going to roll this openly for you so you can just see and behold how much
the pain.
damage it is. Casual 21.
21.
And he would probably start having a not as intense panic attack, but like kind of standard panic attack at this point.
Oh.
Just an everyday casual panic attack, you know.
Yeah, just a casual panic attack.
Right, so-
It's our generation staple.
Oh,
In BD.
dearie. What's a day without a panic attack?
So Soren, you can probably hear the knock on the door. Not early morning, but it's probably midday. Probably, because during this whole time, Agathar's gonna be working on Bell. So I think this is probably like between his work, where he's like taking like a break.
Okay, then Soren probably would have recovered from it by then,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll be in a meditative state. So you can knock on his door, and it'll take him a second, but you do knock on his door, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it'll take him a second, but he eventually like comes to the door and opens it, and he's looking like shit
Yeah.
for obvious reasons, but he lets him in, and then just like kind of wordlessly just like kneels back down.
So how you holding up?
A little bit better now. I think it's starting to work a bit. The fear is unfortunately still there, but
Yeah.
I'm working through it.
That's good. The fear will usually always be there, but it never really goes away. You just learn how to deal with it.
It's what I'm trying to do with this, I think.
Yeah. So you're going to your master's place then? That'd be exciting. I can't wait to meet her.
Hey, it's been years. I wonder how she's getting along.
Well, I guess you'll have the opportunity to ask.
It'll be good to see her again, I think.
Yeah. I couldn't help but notice when you walked out of that fortune teller's place, you looked pretty shook. What, if you're okay with it, what happened in there?
He looks kind of like almost taken aback by this, but then just kind of like smiles and goes, I was probably pretty bad at hiding it. I visited the information broker, and
Yeah.
in an effort to help Percival get a little bit more information on my parents, because she's helping me find them, maybe just at least get a description. And if the information is to be believed, I take after my father more than I do my mother.
Really?
But the thing that had me thinking a lot was the last name.
What was the last name?
And he just kind of like just like thinks about it for a second, like just like reflecting on it a little bit, and then he says, Oleroth. And
That- Go for it.
what was it Agatha gonna say?
It was like, is that like sparking anything in his head? Is that like an important last name, or is that more towards like Soren's thing? I wasn't sure if that was like a
I will give you a
overall
history check.
world thing.
Are you asking me or Shad?
Shad.
I will. I I will give you. It is not picking up.
It's not like the last name of an.
I had to.
Uh-oh.
I had to.
But-
I had to disconnect and reconnect to get my
Oh, that's
my
bad.
audio back.
Yeah, you're
Lovely.
really like breaking up and
Your like mic is not working. Oh,
This
man.
is just my. This is just my life now. This is just my life now. Technical difficulties. They should
Oh, there we
be
go.
fixed in another month.
Yes. All right, no, we got you. We got you back.
Hooray!
Hooray! So as I was saying,
Gotta
roll me
break
a
down and
history
buy this
check.
man a mic myself.
fine, I'll do it myself.
the history Soren wants to tell you.
So I don't know what you heard, Shad, but Soren said his father's last name.
Yes, I know, and I'm
Yeah.
giving you a history check on that.
Okay, I didn't hear it, so I was like,
I know it's fine.
the minute that I said, all right, history.
Fail it.
Pass it. 17.
27. No.
17. Well, I'll let Soren say it, but you realize it about midway through, but just as he says it.
Yeah, I mean
It was literally
Basically-
like almost a month ago that you learned this name.
But
So
yeah,
I
Soren.
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Sorry.
So it was literally just almost a month ago that you heard the name. So I wouldn't blame you for forgetting it up to this point in time.
Yeah, I personally forgot, I guess, because I don't remember hearing that name.
Yeah, after Soren says that, he says, if Olaroth isn't a common name, then it implies that I have a sister. And you've met her. And
Nick told your sister?
if true, then she is. And I
His
don't
mouth
think
is
she
agape.
Your sister's a hussy.
You're not here, shush.
This is
Wait.
my house. I hear everything inside.
No, you don't.
I don't
the
know.
Ceiling person.
You're gonna regret that.
Yeah, ceiling Percival. You see like the top, like one of the top slats slowly close. You see a pair of eyes disappear. No, that's not true. I'm not there.
You just hear
Um,
shunk.
It's information that I got from a second source that normally I would.
Info broker traveler.
But I'd like to confirm with her first. But they'll
Sweet,
have to
dude.
wait until we get to Vori.
Then, huh? He like scratches his neck and just like, huh? That's, huh? That's a lot.
You're telling me.
You almost came my brother. Literally.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Soren, I think, knows that as well. Because I think.
Oh,
I'm pretty
that-
sure
oh, yeah,
that
you're
Neotal
right. You're-
Yeah.
He's there.
Neotal
Yeah.
and you actually did like talk with her a bit more.
Yeah, and that also like comes to Soren's head, and there's like that.
The Soren knows it much more vaguely than the story Ren Swab knows, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
And
but-
Ranswab knows the village too.
Yes.
She knows exactly where they are.
But yeah, like, he does like come up in his or he looks up a little bit in his face. He has like a worried expression on his face, and he goes, the only thing that kind of troubles me about this is that I remember her mentioning something that implies that her and her parents are not on the rosiest of relationships.
Oof. Well, I mean, maybe that's just the relationship between Neatal and them.
Maybe.
I don't know if we actually know how they are in person.
It's another thing I'm gonna have to find out once we get to Vori.
So, probably a safe assumption, Neatal doesn't know.
No, she doesn't. Unless she spoke to a similar information broker, but I don't know why she'd be interested in knowing anything else about me.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of another schmo here.
Ah, you're just another schmo. That's really funny.
Well, to her. I mean,
Well,
I'm not really
yeah,
that
to her.
important to her. She was interested in Ren's, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. Well, that's... Well, good to know. I won't say anything, obviously, but, well, if your parents turn out to be not great people, I could, no one would be able to find them.
He quirks an eyebrow and says,
I got upstairs
"What?"
with a straight face.
Soren quirks his eyebrows and his ears fall back, and he goes, "What are you implying with that?"
Nothing. I'm just.
We can be the last ones to find them.
It's nothing. I'm just saying, like, if they're bad people and if they, I don't know, abandoned you because they're jerks, then, a little bone meal for trees will be good.
He kind of frowns at that and
Well,
says,
thank you,
that won't be necessary.
Right? I'm just offering. Like, I'm not gonna jump the gun on. I'm just offering my services.
He
goes, I'm just saying it's an option.
It's an option.
But then he's just going to be like, I don't think they abandoned me. I think they might have been exiled as well. That's what I've heard anyway.
Well, I guess there's only one way to know.
I speak with her and see what she knows first, and then maybe see the parents and see what they have to say.
I can't imagine how she's gonna react if she finds out that you're her brother.
I don't know her well enough to make that assumption, but maybe it'll be as surprising to her as it was to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's very surprising. I kind of wish I had siblings, but
Well, until yesterday or the day. Was this is this the next day or the day after?
This is the day after, I think.
Yeah, so he'd be like, well, 2 days ago I didn't know either.
Yeah.
And if her parents aren't good towards her, maybe she just needs some family that'll support her.
I fully agree with that. And I think you'd be the perfect supportive brother.
I mean, I've tried my best with this family, he says with a kind of weak and pained smile.
You're very good at it. I don't see you trying very hard.
I think I need to meditate a little more. Thanks for stopping by, though.
Yeah, of course. I also wanted to tell you. he scoots closer to Soren. Got on first base with Soy Fang.
And he looks at Agathar for a second, like sort of confused, and he goes, "I didn't know you and her played baseball."
No, that's not. It takes Agathar a second to like reset. I kissed Soy Fang. I got my first kiss.
Then Soren goes, "Oh, it was a euphemism. All right.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a whole like first base, second base, third base, and then a home run, which I mean was new to me when I talked to Regina. So I'm just using the basis of what I learned.
So I'm assuming the home run is the The what I've heard referred to as the horizontal mumbo.
I've
I
never
know
heard
what
of that
that is.
before. Yeah, I've never heard of that before, but it's like, like full mate stuff. But it's weird. I obviously I don't know anything, and obviously I'm always worried about what she wants, but I think she's like willing to go as far as I want. So it's weird having the hand on that wheel, if that makes sense. I guess I just kind of want to take it slow, but I don't know. I don't know what I want.
Soren is still kind of like kneeling there, and he just like smiles warmly at Agathar, and he says, You're not asking me for advice, are you?"
Well, I guess half advice. He turns red a little bit. With everyone, with all the ladies, how they look at you, and with the dance queen and what her face was for that drinking contest lady. I don't know. You just seemed popular, like, because you're attractive, like because bye, and he runs away.
Soren looks confused and like,
Or
did he?
the redder he got, and then he just abandoned ship.
So okay, so did he just say that Soren is a little bit attractive?
Yeah.
I hear
Agathar
that
straight
correctly?
up said Soren is attractive, and then tried to double back out of it, and couldn't come up with like a way to get out, so he just ran away.
As soon as he leaves and the door closes, Soren just looks puzzled for a second, and he just has this blank expression with raised eyebrows, and he just says, to no one in particular, he just says, "Thanks."
Bye, panic. And then Agathar escapes to his room and then starts quickly double timing working on Belle to try to.
And like from inside the room, even though the room is soundproof, you can just hear him going, "Stupid."
Him mumbling to himself, "Get yourself under control, Agathar."
What a time to be alive. There's gay panic on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, Soren's gonna.
Agathar, you're gonna hear in your mind. Oh, I didn't know you went both ways. Makes sense though.
But he doesn't though.
But I do.
Not in the caravan. It is warded against such communication.
This is
It's not
soul
sending.
bond communication. It is
Yeah, that's.
different.
This is
There's always something to get around my defenses.
Not to mention she's quite literally in the caravan.
Yeah, she's in the caravan somewhere.
She has like a copy of your key,
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
but it only works on your door, not the front door.
Yeah. But yeah, we got that soul link. That's that experimental communication.
It's not divination magic, bish.
I say Rensois is probably in her old room, like retrofitting it to just be a meditation room.
Gosh, not even gonna
This
leave
was
it
my
as
plan, though.
not even gonna leave it as a room for Percival to go into when she has to spend a night on the couch.
I have the whole first floor full of pillows and books. I'm fine.
Bold of you to assume that I will not kick her out instead. It is my caravan.
It's like, you need to sleep on the couch. Is like, correction, you will be sleeping on the couch.
My name is on the deed.
I paid the bills.
I commend the caravan and its moving legs. But no, she wouldn't do that.
Not yet, at least.
They haven't dated long enough to start hating each other.
You,
Joker arc.
you. Oh, jeez, that comes so much later.
The Joker arc hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Oof.
But yeah, Renslaw is probably just making that the meditation room, and then probably when she's done with morning meditation, she'll just head downstairs to like the communal area for tea.
Percival is making.
Probably hits her head on
supper.
more than one door frame by accident.
You're like what, 6 foot? You don't hit your head on anything. This place is
6'3".
made. Yeah, this place is made for Percival, and she gets to be about 6 foot when she's a hybrid. So the doors are tall enough.
Eh. Well, I mean, her ears probably slap against them.
Yeah, but they just kind of bend
Those are
down.
ears, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably just annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's more annoying than painful.
It's like
Like a cat, like messing with the cat's whiskers. It's just like, no, stop.
the twitch, the
Yeah.
the ears flick the doorway, then twitch. It's just like ugh.
Yes. It just feels weird.
All right then. So, what other interaction do you guys want to have amongst yourselves?
Let's see. I play the magical book club with Agathar.
Oh yeah.
All right then.
Yeah, spells.
Where we swap spells.
Yeah.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I have to give you an overlay because my natural penmanship is halfling, so it may not be something you can read.
I mean, I know comprehend languages, so I could, take my time to decipher it. But I mean, mine's also in Draconic, so.
Oh well, we have come to an impasse.
Yeah.
They both just ritual cast comprehend language and just
Yeah.
slowly scan over each other's books like, I got it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I see you used a slang term here. I do not know what that means.
What does this Archmage mean?
No, that would be my book.
But it's weird. Agathar's spell book is like also like somewhat, when it comes to the spells, it's like neatly impacted in, but in like the borders, there's just like doodles. A lot of moles, and maybe some like random formulas to maybe something.
Foreshadowing.
Reading through Percival's spell book is a trip because it's written like you might imagine a mad mathematician
Mm-hmm.
scrawling of like formulas and such, and intricate spell circles and such like that. So it's just like, yes, there's like 2 sentences and then 4 paragraphs of formulaic mathematical method. Fuck me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weirdly, Agathar is not afraid of the math. It's just like, you know what? I never thought about approaching this variable with that. That makes sense.
It's easier to look at a glance and understand if you approach it from a math format.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. So, with that having been done, do you guys have anything else you want to do before you arrive?
I actually, as we're like swapping spells, I think as sort of like maybe like a lull as she's like deciphering some of his work onto her spell book, I think just kind of randomly he says, he knows we're coming, you know that?
Oh, Remir.
Yeah.
Big deal. The man is one of pomp and circumstance. He will underestimate us. He thinks himself far above us. Caught by surprise once. Now he has a foothold. He will throw his men at us long before he approaches us himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I'm just afraid with the man of his stature and whatever power that he managed to get in Mirzai, it's hard to guess what he's going to throw at us, is what I'm concerned of.
Undead guards. He will use the law, likely.
Yeah.
Eggshells. And quick escapes should be something we practice.
Maybe practice different appearances as well.
Oh, well, this is not difficult task for myself. And I assume you shouldn't have much issue with it. It is our company that I fear may have more issue with it. I
Yeah.
mean, Ren's is quite tall now, so I don't suspect she will be very easy to pin down as the same little munchkin she was before.
Yeah.
Soren and Valen, on the other hand,
Stick out like sore thumbs.
well, 3 bunnies, a halfling, and a kobold walk into a bar, and are likely the only ones.
Yeah.
I say we could approach it from a stealthy option and hope he doesn't see, or we play our hand out. Come into town. Don't hide anything. If he knows we're coming and we don't display as if it matters, he might come to the assumption we know something he doesn't. He might pull back and try and get more out of us before he makes a move. If he's smart. And I suppose someone that age would play something cautious if he's been bested once already.
Yeah. As much as we associate him with just being a speed bump, he's smarter than we think we realize. So I don't.
We caught him with his pants down the first time. It will not be so easy the second.
No, but we also went into that fight not fully expecting his capabilities. Now we know what he's capable of.
Yes, the anti-magic field is troublesome.
Well, what do you think about so many grenades?
I feel he will not do that so relishly the second time, knowing we will have that going.
Yeah. And
I do not readily change.
right.
It is a rare thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Belle is gonna have to sit out on this little adventure.
Oh?
He's something that Master Mel said to me, and I think he's a high enough necromancer. He's very capable of doing high-end necromancy. She said to me, if I stuck with necromancy and went sort of all the way with it, eventually I would be able to control him. So I'm of the assumption that if Belle is close to him, I think he can rip control from me. Rip her from me.
Percy taps her chin. Belle, how attached to those bones are you?
Barry? Why?
Well, if they are sentimental, I suppose the idea can be put to the wayside, but...
Well, I spent a lot of money, and then Soren spent a lot of money, and I've been, he kind of motions to his little workshop where there's like, it's a lot cleaner than the last time you probably saw him working on her, where it's like, there's more like scattered books open to several pages that have like 1,000 bookmarks in it. And then Belle's head is just sitting on a nightstand facing a chessboard with Doug on the other side of it. And it looks like they're just playing chess.
So
somehow.
Here, I have an idea. How difficult would you say it would be to make a faux replica?
Well, I did it once before. I think I could probably do it again, but that's pushing the limit of the spell, and even then I always push the limit. Shad, how hard would it be to a full replica?
To make a replica? Well, I mean, just...
Yeah, either to make a second bell or like a working replica.
You have the ability to shape bones. It would be very easy to just make a replica. Also,
Yeah,
the chessboard, if you guys glanced over at it, Bell is winning.
Yep.
So,
A headless bell is winning.
playing off your fear, we approach him in the same way and bank on him trying to take control. We abscond. He calls your undead to his side, and then we set off a trap.
There is
Fill the marrow of the hollow sections of the bones with explosive.
Yeah, I mean, Bell sort of has that already. He kind of looks over at the bones. She sort of already has that, but it might be overkill for Rainier.
Blinks. Well, that is dependent. Is he a speed bump or a threat?
Well, we don't want to, because we have to weaken him, right, to show his heart.
We just need to kill him. We just need to know where the heart is to make it stick. He's like a lich, only shittier.
Premier will remember this.
Think of it like this normally. And it's an odd occurrence with this specific individual. If you were to kill a mummy lord, their heart is typically in their body. Well, I suppose either in a body or held in a jar not far from it, as they are normally entombed with their organs.
Right.
So, it is hard to say. We could always use a location spell to find him, and if his body is no more, it should point directly at his heart.
Yeah, and this is also banking on the fact that he would summon her to his side and not just have her go apeshit on us on top already.
I mean, we could always send the creature at him, and it wouldn't matter if he arrested the power from there or not. Only if he did that first. It would matter on whether or not he saw Bell as a nominal threat or a tool to get to you.
Well, either way, he'd want to try to get to me.
Why? What did you do to Rainier?
Take his girl.
Kind of does like a shrug and waves her hand. Is like, I've seen that girl has about the emotional range of a cardboard box.
That's not all that matters, you know that? I mean, you're not exactly the shining example of emotion.
What do you mean? I'm very emotional.
One emotion. It just says, just with a you really?
Kind of shuts her lower jaw to the side. Well, I suppose I've stepped on a toe. My idea stands.
Yeah, she's very, as emotionless as she is, she's still very thoughtful and sweet, and there's just more to her than emotion,
I still have a chip on my shoulder as she seems to enjoy breaking into my home.
Yeah, but I kind of enjoy picking locks at the inn, so I guess we're not that far off.
Kind of like crosses her arms. Have you tried picking any of the doors here?
No, he sweats.
Looks him up and down. I have other ways to tell if a door has been tampered with than simply looking if someone has relocked it, so...
Okay, I tried once, but that was because I started panicking because Soren had a panic attack. It was out of necessity and not for giggles. And they're very good locks, by the way. I just had an off day.
They are magically enchanted to be good locks to keep riffraff out. If you go breaking them or picking them too easily, you'll have to do something to reinforce them. Or
And-
perhaps putting a lock bar in, so your lock picking will do a jack shit.
I mean, I also have a magical invisible hand. That could...
The magical invisible hand. You can't. It's a lock bar. It's not something that pulls forward. It locks into place.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am getting away from this subject.
Anyway, yeah, I would really rather not destroy Belle.
Okay.
So
We can leave Bell here. It was only an idea. If you were afraid of him taking control, we could have played off of that and hopefully fooled him into taking control of a dummy full of explosives.
yeah, I mean, I could recreate Belle. It's just all the work I've been putting into her recently. I would be lost, especially all these. Like he walks over to one of the bones that he purchased that hasn't been like fused into Belle's current bones yet, and he like holds it up. This is an ancient deep dragon bone. Like these are the real deal. And so I'd really hate to lose this material.
I mean, I gave you a room full of bones.
Yeah, but are they ancient dragons and weird celestials?
No, but if you're making a dummy, it just needs to look like Bell.
I guess it's true.
It would waste a lot of them, and I'd hate for you to lose all the material I gave you to a single year. Boom.
Yeah. But, you know, we'll cross the bridge. I think I'll keep her in my pack just in case. Just in case if she has to pop out and I can do my armor spell. But...
Alright.
But, you know, we still have some time. So we'll mull it over and see what our options are.
Well, we still have the rest of the group to confer with.
Yeah.
We
and,
can come up with something.
Yeah, and who knows? Soren's new sword, who knows what that thing's gonna be capable of.
Yes, we still need to go over the information I got from the travelers on this woman.
Oh?
Alright.
Yeah.
There's a little play about this smith and these two individuals I believe we met once. They might know where she is.
Oh?
Well, they seem to appear out of nowhere and disappear in the same fashion. I imagine they're like every other powerful being who just does whatever the hell they want. So perhaps invoking them in some pattern or way might arouse their eyes, and they may appear to answer some form of call. Who knows?
Did they meet? Did they meet them before Agathor or after?
After.
So Agathor would have met them.
Kind of. They were at the fire. They were things, and they jumped on me because I looked like somebody.
Oh, that's right. That was a long time ago. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, since I've technically met them, I could see what ascending spell does, if it does anything.
Kind of jets her jaw back and forth a bit. You know, that is one of the spells I'm currently copying down, but if you have it trained for the day, I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah, I got it equipped.
Just ask them if they are aware of the location of the smith. They will know.
Okay. All right, then I will cast sending to one of those two individuals. And the message will simply be, "Hello. We are looking for the smith. Do you know of their location? And maybe we can meet to discuss?" Wait. I think I got some words left. I think after meet up to discuss, possibly over tea and treats.
Could you also bring me some popcorn? That'd be great.
We got Pop-Tarts.
All right. So, give me just a second.
Oh no. I'm sensing great danger.
Okay.
Hello. No.
Hello?
So,
It is very tiring to keep up with this cart.
what you get back in response is, if you would like to send a spell, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and send to your operator.
I feel like confused. Did I just go to voicemail?
What's a voicemail?
Travelers have sending mail.
It is all full. The machine is filled.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look through this this play and see if it describes the woman in any way.
Blue-haired, elven, tall, muscular, a bit of a curmudgeon, and with a needle for a tongue.
Blinks as she reads the description. Oh, it is me. No wonder they thought it was me. I mean, I do have kind of blue hair. It's just very dark. No one would have confused it.
And I am shredded
There-
as shit.
But I would not say my tongue is a needle. It's more like a knife.
There is
No, I am fairly certain that is essentially what this means.
There is another, and there's another description. It describes that as being her true form. But there was a form before it that these two met her as. One that was shed away before the grand sacrifice. And that form was that of a green halfling. No, a green gnome. It was green gnome.
Chews on her her lip a little. I am not a gnome.
Huh? Agatha looks over finally, like, wait, what does that even mean? Contact who? Contact who? Provider?
Would you like to try another sending?
No.
I have another attempt here for your sending. How does sending work for you? Do you have to know the person, or can you lock on to a general idea of this person?
I would have to have met them. Well, you send a short message 25 hours. The creature hears, recognizes you as the sender if it knows you and can answer in a. Actually, you can send a short message to a creature which you are familiar. So I'm not.
Yep.
I would have to be familiar with them.
He passes you the play, then get reading.
Deep takes it.
I will
looks at
say
it.
that familiarity in this context means you would have to have met them at least once.
Yeah,
All right.
that's
What
kind of
about
how I've been playing it.
What about scrying? Let me check scrying.
Scrying is probably a little more.
Scrying won't work in this
I've been-
context.
I've been trying it with Soren's mom and dad, and I don't know a damn about them.
Yeah, and they have, and they've been having a bonus to their save because of it.
Yes, but it hasn't not connected. It's just been resisted.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. You know what? Go for it. Go for it.
She concentrates on herself as she envisions who she might be if she were this person. She believes, if I reminded these two so greatly of this person, then I must be a very close proxy. So
Roll
And
a
I think-
1d20.
18.
That's not bad.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
But not good
You
enough.
scry yourself.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
Oh yeah, because you're in the cart.
Oh,
Well-
yeah. So yeah, no,
Uh.
you feel your scrying sensor try and take hold, but it just bounces off of a defensive measure.
I think my eyes open slowly, like I either scryed on them and they blocked me, or I scryed on myself and I blocked me.
Sounds like either way you were blocked.
This is true. I think we need some time to dwell on this. I
Remember,
will
who's
come to
this,
Soren
Doc?
later. And I need to step away. I need to use the bathroom pretty bad. I'll be back.
Alright. Well. With that in mind, did you enjoy the voicemail?
Fuck. I was like, wait, they put me in a voicemail? You could do that? I mean, that
And the
sounds
best
about
part
right.
is,
for-
the best part is, it is exactly 25 words.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb.
So amazing.
Have you had that ready for like whenever anybody has tried to send one of the travelers?
Maybe. Who knows? I know.
I
Just like a text file that's saved on your desktop.
Yeah, right.
Not
Someone
even.
sending a
It's on
traveler. Hit the note. Get the note. Pull it open.
Not not
Reads
even,
with
it's on a
malicious
sticky note.
glee.
Oh yeah, I had something prepared for this. Quick.
If you try to send to a dead person, it's just like, "Boo-doo, this number is no longer available.
This person is no longer available.
This
They
person
are
is no
dead.
longer available.
The send line has been disconnected.
The sending line has been disconnected. Yes.
Please refer to next of king.
Please consult your closest cleric.
Yes. I you know, I'm gonna make novelty sending messages for different situations now.
Yes.
I'm gonna make a whole text document dedicated to fucking novelty sending messages.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna do that too for Soren, except when somebody tries to send Soren, it's just gonna be him and his voice going beep, 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 beep.
Beep, beep.
If you would like to send a spell, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and dial your operator.
It's
Yes.
It's with like making holding music with your mouth. Boop 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 boop.
and the best part is it's not words, so you can have the music go for as long as you want in the spell because it's not using words.
It's user words.
I'm assuming this wouldn't work, but would a sending spell be able to pick up pan flute playing?
Yes. You just imagine
because
your
it's
hand
hard, yes.
playing.
Because if so, then Soren can use that as an opportunity to practice.
Anyway, so with that in mind, unless you guys have anything else to do, you're gonna arrive at Misaki's cabin.
All I want to know is what kind of progress I've made.
Roll me 3 spell ability checks.
Okay. Spell ability. Here we go. This is the first one. Soft 20. Second one. 16. Third one. Oh, bitch! I was gonna roll on a natural 20. I rolled on a 2.
Alright
6. Not as good at last one.
And 3 Arcana checks.
Okay, I can certainly do that. 1. 31. 2. 26. 3. 29.
Okay. So,
That expertise, though.
Yeah, that expertise, dude.
So with that in mind, you're able to make sizable progress. You can pick one of the bones, and you can have it installed in Gain's feature.
Ooh. Definitely want to do the spell mimicry first.
Okay. And as a secondary aside, you would note that Belle's upgrade slots are getting very full. She has room enough for one more.
Okay.
So you gotta really decide if you want them deep dragon bones.
Yeah.
So.
Time to upgrade Belle's upgrade slots.
Yeah, right.
That requires him to be a better necromancer.
Yup. Let's see. Would I be able to get rid of upgrades already?
So currently speaking, your upgrades are the claws,
Yep.
the enchanted bones.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the enchanted bones you can't exactly remove the enchantment of because that's the abjuration archmages.
Yeah, that's the spoil sport, and then her attacks are magical.
Yes. And then you have the spell mimicry currently.
Yes.
And also the runes let you size her down and size her back up.
Mm-hmm.
So currently speaking, you have 2 out of 3 upgrade slots.
Okay.
Because the bone upgrade and the abjuration archmage, those do not count against her upgrade slots.
Mm-hmm.
Because literal archmage bullshit.
Yeah. Okay. Claws are nice. Yeah, I was gonna think about having her do like sword and board, but those claws are better than I thought they were. It's essentially a great sword +6, so it's pretty good.
They are very nice.
Is this doing anything to her stats?
No, it is just the spell mimicry.
Okay.
Which I think is more than enough.
Oh, for sure. I just wasn't sure if that her health increased or something.
What's your health
Give
right
Belle.
Her hit points are 69.
now? No.
Okay.
Just give Belle levels in monk. There you go.
Look, I've already asked about putting a soul in the bell and it didn't work.
That would
Then the
require
Gabelle-
it would require its own upgrade slot to put a soul in her.
Yeah, right.
Give Belle 2 levels of fighter so she gets action surge.
Don't tempt me.
Alright then. So, you guys make your way up the mountainside. And now I can get to reading off the next thing. It takes the better part of... What?
And
No, you were trying
this
to say
whole time, Valen's just been isolated, just thinking.
Okay. Alright then. So, it takes the better part of 3 days to arrive and climb the lowest peak within the mountain range of Copper's Rest. Your travels within the carriage are comfortable, and the creatures that wander the jungles either stay away or attack and find the carriage inedible, and thus leave it alone. And eventually, with Soren's instructions, your carriage arrives just outside of a lonely shack, seated near the peak of the mountain, like the mountain that you're currently on the side of. With a flattened area around the hut, and a kind of like fresh snowfall around it. And you can see among the edges of the house, kind of like flowering in the snow despite it, are these pure white flowers. The hut itself is simple and utilitarian, designed to be lived in and not exactly to host large crowds of people. And whenever the carriage kind of like pulls in and just kind of like comes to a stop and settles down, the door to it opens up and a figure emerges from within. walking on a
Holding the
crutch
shotgun.
under her, walking out with a crutch under her good arm, and missing both her left arm and right leg, stands a very proud-looking woman. You see black hair streaked with gray, pale skin that's slightly wrinkled, a simple outfit of thatchwork clothing on, with a pink ribbon tied across her brow. That's kind of like a bandana that just like trails down behind her and kind of like flips about lightly in the wind.
I'm back. Sorry for the wait.
She kind of like levels her gaze at the carriage itself and kind of like eyes it up and down suspiciously, like, who are these guys?
Who are these bitches?
Her good arm propping her up a bit as she kind of like stands a little bit straighter, and her hand kind of like slides down to these 3 blades at her hip. Just kind of like looking and waiting.
Did we just arrive?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Can I describe the outside of the cart?
Sure.
So it's got kind of like it's got legs made of like shattered wood that kind of look like draconic legs. It kind of crawls. It's got a big birch tree on the top that kind of like twists and turns and has like a big a canopy that overshadows the top of it. Usual kind of dark red wood on the exterior of it with the stained glass windows. The tree shakes back and forth as it overshadows the garden on the top. And she's giving it she's mean mugging my cart as the door flies open. And our happy asses walk out.
Alright. The second you guys kind of like emerge from within, she's like eyeing each of you suspiciously until Soren comes out, and then she's like, "Oh, you came."
I brought your student.
Soren approaches. What time of the day is this?
It's around like evening.
Okay, so the effects of the poison have probably worn off for the day then.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say they have.
Okay.
You see her kind of like just. She responds back to Percival as she's like, "I brought your student." She's like, "Oh, do you want a cookie?"
Oh no.
So Soren steps in front of Percival and bows and kneels in front of, and then like kneels down and does a proper bow and in front of her and goes, It's been too long, Sensei."
Yes, it has. She kind of like leans back a bit more on her crutch. Why don't the 5 of you join me inside then? And she kind of like moves her crutch and then hops with her leg. Moving with a bit of fluid grace to her. And if any of you guys would like to, you may each make me a perception check.
Absolutely. Ooh, 19. Oh, Soren, let's go.
I figure this would be one of the moments where he'd be able to roll a
God.
nat 20.
Whoa, everybody's rolling high.
Except Parsi, who's vaguely interested, but not really.
60 respectable.
So, each of you guys notice that on each of the 3 swords that she has on her hip, there is a single bell that has not rang once this entire time. And then each of you guys notice that on that one of the swords is the same sword that the travelers sent off to this area.
Oh no.
Well, this is what we expected to happen.
I'm gonna
And-
run in real quick, and he runs back into the cart.
And lastly,
Okay.
for those natural 20s, Rensois, Soren, and Dravgan, because you did roll high enough. Well, Dravgan, roll me a medicine check.
Medicine.
Hey, Dravgan, don't forget to change your name.
Yeah,
So, with that 18 on medicine, Dravgan, she's walking a bit more smoothly than she should be able to, missing a leg. And for both the natural 20s, Soren, you would probably know this more than anyone else, but Misaki isn't walking like she normally does. She has a bit more of a tender care and pace to her movements. And she seems to be leaning on that cane a bit too much. Not in the sense of like, oh, I'm hurt, I'm wounded, but more like she's trying to compensate for something else.
So he looks concerned at this, but gets up and begins to follow her inside.
Do the rest of you guys follow her inside?
Yeah.
Or-
I ran inside of the cart to get Belle. Belle 3.0, but I'm not going to describe her yet. And then Belle is just in the bag, and then he runs back out into the meets back up with the others.
Upon entering this small little hut, it's ever so slightly more spacious inside. It seems to be built into the mountainside. It was kind of like flush and flat up against the wall, and it kind of like has been built a bit further in. Without needing to roll for it, you guys can, those of you who are magically inclined can see the telltale signs of a stone-shaped spell being used here repeatedly to kind of like form the smooth walls. You see a tiny little bonsai tree on a table in the center of it. A cherry blossom bonsai tree with like cute little pink petals floating down from atop it. You see that there is kind of like a rack full of weaponry, just all kinds of weaponry, but mainly swords. You see a forge that is kind of like tucked away in the corner with a chute that leads up and out of the building. A couple like regular mats that you can just kind of like lay on and sleep, and a couple mats that are designed for resting upon and kind of like seated around the table. She kind of like hops her way over to a nearby tea kettle that she has that begins kind of like, whistle and steam. She kind of like removes it. So, you've finally arrived. Good. Soren, prepare the guests some tea. Or their cups, at least. I will provide the water.
At once, Sensei. And he begins to do so.
You see Soren move over to a nearby cabin, open it up, and just very delicately take out a number of small little glasses and just kind of like sit them down on the table. At which point he returns to the same kind of like cupboard and pulls out a small little vase, which he then proceeds to spoon some tea leaves into each of the cups, which she then pours some tea over, or some water over to make into tea.
And he's probably still pretty practiced at this. Like, he's done it a lot of times.
Mhm.
So he does it with a grace that you don't normally see him have in small ministrations like this.
In fact, Soren, would you be so kind as to roll me a performance check? with advantage.
Advantage performance.
17.
More than enough. You are basically a ballerina with how you spin and pirouette about your duties to both get the tea, move it, shuffle it around, and kind of like place the cups down and, spread out the tea leaves before taking a seat yourself. There's like a small little tray of sugar cubes in the center. And as Misaki kind of like takes a half seat where she was, she kind of like indicates to the cups, your tea leaves will filter out of those cups, so you don't need to worry about drinking them.
Sensei spares no expense.
Thanks. Thank you very much. And seeing the bow Soren did earlier doesn't go as far, but like definitely I guess like trying to be like a good guest, I guess, just trying to be respectful, and then he does a little bow and then he takes his spot.
Percy finds a place to sit and plops down with a thump, and then takes her tea.
Francois will sit down nearby and also, thank you.
She'll just give
Valen
you
will
a small
also
nod.
sit down, take a cup.
She gives you each a small nod and very delicately lifts up her cup and takes a small sip, while the water is still steaming and hot, before placing it back down.
After that's done, Soren just kind of like takes a sip himself and breathes like a sigh, and just kind of like a contented sigh, and then looks at Sensei Misaki and says, "I would like to introduce you to my parent family, if you want."
Oh. Battlefield Brothers, right?
I've met them all in my travels, and they're a good family. They've taken care of me, and I've done my best to take care of them. And he gestures over to Percival and says, "This is Percival Hemlock. He is a wizard."
Tea.
He gestures to Agathar and he says, one second.
You can say the stammering was in character.
Yeah, he gestures to Agathar and says, "This is Agathar. He's also a wizard and was trying to take up the blade himself with another weapon. I'd like to say that I was the inspiration for that, but I guess we could leave that to him." And
He's being modest. He is the inspiration.
And he gestures to Rensois and says, "This is Rensois. She is a, well, are you still a, I don't know anymore. You used to be like 3 feet tall, and now you're..."
Quite tall.
Very tall.
He will tuckle into her cup. Master Mel helped me focus more on let us say, the physical side of things. My connection to nature is still strong, but I'm leaning more into my monk training now.
She's a martial artist, Soren.
I think she always was.
Yes,
I think she always was at heart.
but more so one now. I can see it. She takes a sip.
And then Soren gestures to Valen and goes, "And this is Valen, a cleric. And he's kept me alive more than I'd probably care to admit, but he's been a good brother."
I'm glad you found some family. Has your search been going well for the others?
Well, we've had some help with from Percival. Unfortunately, it seems my blood parents are a bit resistant to scrying, but I did get some more information that might help with that. Oh, by the way, he gestures to Misaki and says, "This is Misaki Kurama. She's the one who taught me the ways of the blade. And I don't think anybody could have taught me better than she did."
Such as I'm able to.
He's quite the amazing samurai.
He has
Soren
potential.
Soren kind of just like brustles with embarrassment as Agathar says that.
I trust him with my life.
Same.
She doesn't smile or show much emotion, but she does give a small nod of acknowledgement.
And for my trust, I give him room and board.
Yes, your caravan is quite interesting.
It's a labor of love.
And then Soren just kind of like remembers something quickly and he goes, "Oh, right. I've met somebody else in my travels. Would you happen to know anybody named Riven? He bears your last name."
She is going to roll a history check.
Do I have a son? Oh my fuck, I got a son.
When did this happen?
I totally forgot.
My boy!
There's that one wild night.
She thinks for a moment. No, I don't know him. But if he bears the last name, then he was likely trained by a member of my family.
He does study the sword like I do, just in his own way. He says with a smile.
Agathar mumbles, "A dirty cheater."
Does he fight without honor?
Soren kind of like nods slowly.
Well, then I suppose you're going to have to show him better. And she takes another sip of her tea.
I tried. I almost beat him in a one-on-one duel, with him fighting in the way he does and fighting in the way. I lost that duel, but I have no regrets.
Never regret a loss. Only regret not learning from it.
And I did. As I stated, I don't regret a thing about it.
What did you learn then, Soren?
Be more ready for anything. He says with a wry grin as he takes a sip of his tea.
She gives a very small nod, as one should always be along the path of the blade. And she takes a sip from her tea.
That was a lesson I learned, and a long time ago, taught by one of the best. And he nods towards her and he says, "If you didn't teach me that lesson, I probably would never have beaten that Oni."
A paltry achievement compared to a perfect dance, which I felt you had performed.
Not as often as I'd like, but I've completed one or two.
She nods. You see her reach down to one of her swords, and she plucks a silver bell off of it and offers it to you. A trade, then.
he looks at it surprised. What? So I'm assuming the silver bell is the next step up in the lesson.
Yes, it is.
He holds out his hand under it and will accept it. And he says, "Huh, I I don't know which blade to put it on. I suppose the right hand one, hey?"
Replace the copper one.
I will do that immediately, and he begins doing it right now.
She'll take the copper bell whenever you have fully removed it, and she will pocket it. Next time we meet, you'll likely be given your gold one.
I will strive for that day.
I know. And with that, she just takes another sip from her tea, and she seems to just be very passively sitting and waiting.
Soren doesn't really know how to broach this part, but he says, "I've actually come to speak with you for three things, and I understand that I should have come back earlier, and I'm sorry I did not. I've just been wrapped up in so many things recently, and it's taken up a lot of my time."
It's fine. The original reason I needed you to return to me was to receive that bell of yours.
I could have been here sooner. I'm sorry.
Fret not for the path one wanders, for one always arrives exactly on time.
He smiles at that and then nods and takes a sip of his tea, and then says, "So, I, the, it's my understanding that you've come upon another blade recently. I would say in the last 2 days,
She takes
last 5 days."
She takes a sip from her tea and just quirks an eyebrow. I don't know what you mean. I've had these three swords my entire life.
Insight.
There's no need. There's no
Yep.
need to insight. There's no need to insight at all whatsoever. Like, the sword you're looking for is right there on her hip. It's literally right there.
Or is it? Sleight of hand now.
All I gotta say is travelers do as travelers
Was.
do. Some wacky bullshit.
Exactly.
So Soren at this point, like unties Hidari from his belt, and then begins to, like, still in the sheath, and holding the blade into the sheath with his thumb over the pommel, or over the guard. He, like, aims it closely towards that sword,
It
or he
begins
holds it
vibrating.
close, and then he looks at her.
Oh, this old thing. I've had it for years.
Funny you say that, because I saw that sword last at a band of travelers 5 days ago.
Truly.
Aye.
She takes a sip from her tea. Well, if you want it, then we're going to need to go
Bite me,
up to the
bitch.
mountaintop. Alone.
That's preferred, honestly, because I did have a couple things I wanted to talk with you in private about. But do you know what this means, Sensei?
I do.
Then you probably also know that the sister blade Megiddo has already found one that's awoken it.
You see her pause for a moment before nodding. Yes, I am aware.
Yeah, he ties Hidari-da back to his belt and then just like pops Migi-da from the sheath just a little bit, just to show her the color of the blade, because the color of the blade's now red, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's gonna pop the blade and he's gonna pop Migi-da from the sheath and then just like slowly draw it out like maybe a foot or so, just so she can see the color of the blade. And then he's gonna put it back. He's gonna slide it back in all the way into the sheath. She's gotten an upgrade.
So she has. She takes a long drink from her tea and sets down an empty glass.
And Soren finishes his.
She then pulls the cane back under her arm and slowly sits herself up. Then, I suppose it's time.
He nods and then stands. Do you want them to come with? Well, you wanted to come alone. You made you come alone. I
did say alone.
All right. He then like looks back at the rest of the group and says, I'll be back.
Be here.
And this is why I'm glad I have my caravan.
She then...
I'm going to start making dinner if you are going to be gone this long.
She then starts to hobble around the table and eventually makes her way to the door. Opening it, she steps outside.
And Soren follows, of course, like keeping behind her, like not like trying, basically doing his best to keep behind her.
Soren, as you
Outside, how about that?
Soren, as you step out, you hear the familiar sound of a whisper from a message spell that just simply says, "You got this."
Are they? There's the message spell can be responded to, right?
Yes, it can.
So he just says, he basically just says, thanks. And did you mean what you said earlier in my room? You don't have to answer now. And then walks out.
Suddenly, Agatha turns super red for no reason.
Ooh.
No reason.
Ooh. Oh my.
Just suddenly he's in front of a statue. This is a really cool statue.
Alright.
Wait, let me.
This is
let
a
me
nice
see if-
table. Is it mahogany?
No, cherry wood.
Does Ren swap pick up on this? Insight, no.
Hold
I mean,
on.
a 10's probably enough, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Depends on his
it's enough.
deception. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
God,
Red
Agatha really
Swap.
is an open book. Yeah,
Very
it's
much
familiar panic.
It's
So,
just that it's that one meme of the Rock just like leaning in with the very dramatic eyebrow quirk, and
Like,
she
if
just
you-
looks
if the rest-
towards Agathar.
He's not looking back.
If the rest of the party wants to interact for a little bit, my dinner just came. It's going to take me like a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay,
I'm
then.
so sorry.
The two of them leave the room, and you guys are free to look around the place if you want.
I'm panicked looking, but I'm not gonna like open drawers or shit. Like I'm gonna just.
I mean, everything that is here is kind of like readily visually available. The only thing that's like in the cabinet that you saw was like dishes and various like food amenities. Some tea boxes and stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna make sure he doesn't make eye contact with anybody right now.
The thing about it is that like you see a couple different like interesting little features about the room. For example, there is a small shrine that is that has a statue of a nine-tailed fox on it. That is kind of like has like incense sticking out of it and smoking currently. The scent of cherry wood kind of like filling the air.
Oh, Kurama, nice.
Meanwhile, she's just
I see this
behind-
fox, and I'm like,
just
this
Okay.
is notable.
Yeah, it's a cool statue.
It's a creature that doesn't exist in this world.
Yeah, it's isn't Migida this?
Yes. Or some kind of descendant of it, apparently. Perhaps Soren's master knows more than we might assume.
Most likely, but who knows? Maybe that's what they're going to be talking about.
Doubtful.
Anyone else pick up that it seemed as if her movements were too fluid?
I mean,
Renslaw did.
Yeah.
she is hiding something, certainly.
She's old.
I think she's like a samurai master, so I'm sure she's mastered movement.
Something just doesn't feel right. Or just me being distracted by other things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Distracted by other things. He just continues to stare at the statue.
Just starts like, kind of like starts like burning a hole in Agathar as he, like with her eyes as he just does that. Got something to share, little man?
Oh yeah, no, Renswa is like behind him. Just like she's tall now. Just
Yeah.
hand on shoulder.
Gloomy.
Valen's going to.
Why are we so jumpy?
Well, I had my first kiss a couple days ago, so I'm just kind of still riding that high,
No, you wouldn't hide that and be this weird about it.
All right, I'm back.
Hi.
Okay, very minor thing. Valen, what do you want to do?
Valen's going to cast Detect Magic. His paranoia is kicking in.
Okay. You cast Detect Magic, and there is not any magic present in this area.
After a bit, when
Aside from the ambient magic on you guys and on the cups, but it's a minor transmutation magic on the cups.
Okay.
Cups change color.
It's a mood cup.
No,
Yeah,
the
it's a
cups. The cups prestidigitate the tea water clean, so you can actually drink it without the tea leaves backing down
Yeah.
your throat.
Agathar's cup bright pink.
After a bit, for when Soren and his master are gone, he's just going to do a small little patrol around.
Around the hut.
Yeah, with Detect Magic still up.
Alright. Well, I mean, like I said, Detect Magic is like 30 feet. It's enough to catch the entirety of the hut without moving from the center. It's just there's no magic aside from like basic amenities and stuff.
Alright.
And when I say basic amenities, I mean like, oh, there's an enchantment to make it, not super cold in here. Oh, there's an enchantment to like heat stuff up and cook things. Oh, there's an
She
enchantment
has smart
to
appliances.
Yeah. Oh, there's an enchantment.
She has a smart
to...
fridge.
She has a smart fridge.
It's like, oh, there's an enchantment to preserve food so it doesn't go bad. Oh, look, there's an enchantment on the teacups to, make the tea water clean so you don't drink tea leaves.
And a Samsung flat screen TV.
Alright.
And a Google Home.
The paranoia was just slowly kicking in there.
I will note, if you'd like to roll a perception check, you may certainly do so. Or investigation. It'd be investigation in this case.
My mouse has been double clicking shit.
Yeah, that was fast.
Yeah. You said investigation?
Yes, it would be investigation in this case.
19
Alright.
though. Still
With a 19 investigation, as you kind of like peruse around, you see a few walls that have some books
I'll be
here
right back.
and there, and kind of like among the books, you see a few that are titled that you'd recognize as being some of Mel's work, some of her fanfics.
Looks like his master might be a fan of
also-
Mel's.
You also notice a few of them that are strangely titled Magic. Volumes 1 through 20.
Right up called Magic.
If you'd like to pick one of those out and begin perusing it.
We
Yeah.
just start. We start hearing. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh my god.
But these particular books titled Magic are written by a Bethany Fleetfoot.
Alright.
Which is an author you've never heard of, but then again, that'd require like a history check to like peruse all the authors you've ever read.
Turns out it's not one that he's ever heard of. It's actually Migida's altered self.
What was the last name?
Bethany Fleetfoot.
Fleetfoot. Okay. I had to make sure.
Turns out
Different-
it is exactly who you thought it
Different
was.
different Bethany. These books look
Different
a lot
bitch,
older.
Bethany. different bitch. I mean Bethany.
These books look a lot older.
Yeah.
But with that, I'm gonna pan the camera away as Valen continues his investigation. Okay. Soren.
Yes.
Bitter cold cuts through your clothing as you approach the summit with Misaki. The constant sound of her crutch tapping along the stone being the only companion either of you have, as she doesn't talk. And once the two of you reach the top, you see that same training ground that you grew up in. It's completely flat with a few training dummies here and there. There's a light smattering of snow in the area, and towards the very edge is a large crate that is just sat down on the edge. As she kind of makes her way forward.
He follows behind her, but about halfway there, he brings up, "Hey, Sensei, are you feeling okay?"
I'm fine, Soren.
He just kind of nods silently. Can I insight that?
Sure thing. I'll give you advantage because it's your master. You've lived with her for years. Okay. With an 18, you can tell that there's this weight on her shoulders. A sort of emotional one. It's something that you can sense in the way that she grips her cane, in the way she walks. This sense of duty, of something she must do.
He still looks worried and concerned, but he takes what she says and remains silent.
The trip is silent the rest of the way up. And upon reaching the middle section of this training ground, she begins to talk. Her back is to you. Soren, you've grown since the last time I saw you. Your step is lighter, and you have managed to awaken one of your blades. Yet, I'm sure you've seen what other people are capable of. Overconfidence is a swordsman's worst foe, especially in the face of any caster capable of using tier 3 or better magic.
I've had my own blade turned against my friends more than once.
She reaches the crate and stands up as straight as she can with only one leg. I've lived here for a long while, Soren, watching the city of Morningwood from above. And I have seen deeds both great and terrible in my lifetime. It's not surprising to hear of another swordsman who was turned against his party by magic.
Of another sword, what?
Another sword master.
Oh.
She turns to face you, her crutch falling away to the side as she stands unaided before you.
Has he seen her do this before?
No.
So a look of surprise will hit his face before before he says anything else, and he just kind of like sees this. And he just goes, "Sensei?"
She stares at you for a moment. A look of determination on her face. She kind of clenches the one hand she does have. I received a missive from someone recently and came to a conclusion. This world is crooked, and I have sat on the sidelines for far too long. You see this flicker along her missing limbs, and with a small sigh, her left arm and right leg reappear. Except, instead of being comprised of flesh, you see two limbs composed of this cold blue-colored material with small whirring lines of icy blue energy trailing along them. She places her left hand along the three blades at her side and frowns. However, before I leave, I must teach you one final lesson.
Wait, leave?
Draw your blade, Soren. We don't have much time.
He just kind of like takes a short gasp, and then as she requests, he bows to her and then draws his swords.
She has this expression of pure steel on her face as she draws out the blade that you would have received from the travelers with her right hand. The ribbon on her forehead whipping in the wind, revealing a cream-white tail to it. Upon the hilt of this sword, you see a solitary golden bell, One that you haven't heard ring once throughout the walk up the cliffside. Roll initiative.
Here we fucking go. Let's go, Soren.
He just takes like a deep breath and gets into a ready stance.
You see her simply settle into a stance as she doesn't dash forward. She doesn't strike at you. She instead waits for you to come to her and passes her first turn. It is your turn, Soren.
He sees that she's waiting for him to that she's waiting for him to move, but he doesn't move forward. Instead he enters. And still not quite sure what she has in mind. He's going to say, a duel it is then?
If that's what you can call this.
I'd like to try an insight to see exactly what she's trying to get from him.
Go ahead.
Wow, roll 20. Wow, roll 20.
You have advantage.
Wow, roll 20.
With a 13, her expression is impassive and hard to read. You don't think that you can get much off of her. Not right now. She's in battle mode.
And he's going to take that one single attack that he can make right now.
Sure thing.
Oh no!
All right.
Good Christ.
That insta
So-
kill though.
Oh no.
You settle into your stance. And you swing your sword at her.
Just take her head right off.
And you know, without a shadow of a doubt, this is a killing blow.
Like the one time I did not want a nat 20.
Literally the
And-
first time you got a crit on this.
You watch as this slicing blade of wind leaves your weapon and launches across the snowy field. Snow flying left and right. As she simply takes her weapon and cuts your attack in half.
Okay, good.
You'd still take the damage though.
She does still take the
Unless
damage.
Remember, crits are extra if they don't immediately die.
Unless DM fiats it.
That's still a ton of damage.
This becomes a normal attack.
Oh, she cancels the crit.
Yes.
She's
Alright, so
a
it's just-
cleric.
So it's just normal damage.
Normal damage.
So 13 it looks like.
Okay.
The
You-
local damage.
As she slices this blade of wind in half, you see the scattering remains of your attack kind of like slice around her shoulders and face. And your bell remains silent.
All right,
You see her.
That's gonna be his turn.
You see her give a small nod. That was good. If it were anyone else. And then she sheaths her weapon, goes into a stance, and then she's not there anymore. And all you hear is the click of a blade behind you.
Oh my god.
What is your AC, Soren?
It is 20.
20. Then yes, this will
in-
hit.
Common, alright. Oh, it's Arashi that gets a +1 to AC. Or no, it's Notoriu, that's what that. Yeah.
You take 21 points of slashing damage. And then you feel a twist in the air as lightning jolts through your body. And you take an additional 24 lightning damage.
Oh my god.
24.
Are you still up?
Yep.
Okay. What's your health looking like, buddy?
22.
Fucking him up.
Very nice.
Yeah, she's already cut off over half of his health, so.
I mean, he
To be
already...
fair, you're already out
Yeah,
24 damage of your own.
Yeah, you were already out 24 damage.
This was in the evening, so I got that damage back, right?
No, the max health
No.
drain lasts the whole day until you long rest. It's
The
the
poison
exhaustion.
condition is the one that...
It's the exhaustion levels that do not last.
Oh, okay, well, he's down then.
Ah, okay.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, he has 68 health. I only know that
Yeah.
because he's 2 health above mine.
So
67 health, and then minus that 24 brought him down to 42, I think.
And then... Yeah.
My math are bad right now, so
What's your max normally then?
67.
67
Really?
is 43.
Oh. Why did I feel like it was higher? Agathar's... Oh, wait.
Because I thought it was higher and I had it set for higher,
So,
and then I
yes.
decided to rework the health. They're like,
She
make
was-
sure about that, and found that no.
She was 2 damage better than what you had for HP. So it was just barely you went down. As that lightning kind of like courses and runs through you, and you kind of fall backwards and land on the ground as you hear the humming of a large engine approaching. In fact, all of you in the hut hear the hum of a large engine approaching.
Oh god, this friggin'
Oh my god.
And
No way.
as she watches you fall, you see her frown. I'm disappointed in you, Soren. Your skill is improved. However, this is where this path ends. And with that, you see her... And while she's saying this, you see her kind of like pulling out a small vial and coating her blade. Before she runs you through the guts. And pins you to the ground like a butterfly with your own sword. With the sword that she is holding, which is the sword you were after. As you feel your muscles tense up as something seeps into your bloodstream and you feel paralyzed.
So he's just kind of like is able to speak at all?
You are not able to speak, you are paralyzed.
Is he at least able to like look like around or?
He's able to look.
Yeah, so he's just like kind of looking at her now with an almost betrayed look on his face.
You see her very delicately reach up and pull off her bandana before she exchanges the golden bell at the hilt of the sword with the bandana. At which point you see a ch-ldr-n dropship arrive. 2 heavy figures jumping out and landing on the ground.
Bitch, work for them.
You see her begin to walk away. Pack up the device and get ready to leave. And you watch as one of the guards kind of like lowers his rifle towards you, Soren. And she places a hand on his gun and lowers it down. Leave him. I coated my blade in wyvern venom, so he'll be dead shortly, if he isn't already. We have to leave before his friends arrive. And with that, the figure simply nods. The 2 of them grab the crate and toss it into the dropship before all 3 of them step inside. And the ship begins to fly away. Misaki staring down at you, Soren, the whole time.
So, is there any way for him to tell if this actually was Misaki or if it was a doppelganger?
There is no need to roll. That was Master Misaki.
Yeah, he just has like this really hurt look of betrayal on his face as she's doing all this, like as well as best as he could do while paralyzed. And he just has like this expression that's just begging why.
As she flies away. If you'd like, you may make a perception check, if you want.
Advantage.
Chad, I have an important question because I keep forgetting.
Yes,
What race is Misaki?
she is human.
Can I say
Okay,
bitch?
yeah, that tracks.
That checks out.
So, is that perception with advantage?
Yes.
God
Dang
damn.
it, roll 20. Roll 20. Why?
It's still more than enough. It is a simple farewell. And around this point in time, I would imagine the rest of you guys... Actually, cutting back to Valen and his investigations, you find a letter on a desk. One that is not handwritten, but typed out. It is a missive from Caligrin on a recruitment drive.
Seeing this, he will
And around
look to
that
the
point in
group.
time, you hear the hum of the dropship.
He'll stare at the group.
Damn it.
Need to move fast
Move
now.
now.
Agathar, Bell, out now.
Percy, come.
Yeah, Agathar. Full
Rensla's like already grabbing. Small staff, but
We head outside, and I will polymorph.
Okay. Into.
It's the stats of a Quetzalcoatl, but I'll just say it's a young rock.
Okay. You gather people along your back and you take off and soar up through the mountain. Or up the mountain. And as you do so, you can see kind of like the dropship flying off into the distance. And shortly afterwards, you guys arrive at the top and you see Soren with the blade he sought basically pinning him into the ground, not moving. Blood pooling everywhere.
Yeah, Agathar just throws himself off of the rack and just stop Sid! And he is going to pop the healing spirit on top of Soren immediately.
Soren, roll the d6 for me real quick, Agathar.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Soren.
Roll about 3 death saves.
Soren, you go from stable to 2 hit points.
And he just like
You are
he
still
just
paralyzed.
like takes a well he probably takes like a sharp pained breath.
Yeah, Agathar just like full on dives to the ground and then just like parachute open, roll down next to him, and then he's just Soren, what happened?
He's paralyzed. He can't reply.
Yeah.
You see Soren.
Renswa will also head over and and healing word,
All right.
grasping the moon sickle as a focus.
All right.
Because it makes my healies better.
Go ahead and roll
Yay.
healing word.
9.
All right. Soren, you're at 11 HP. Still paralyzed.
Valen will, I'm guessing, arrive finally and putting his foot on Soren's chest and grasping the blade. As he pulls out the blade, he just casts Lesser Restoration on Soren.
Soren, you're no longer paralyzed. But that sword being removed from your guts feels horrible.
Oh, I would imagine. But yeah, he just as soon as he stops being paralyzed, he like as Valen's just like pulling the sword from him, he's just like, is he doing it as he's pulling the sword or after he pulled the sword?
As he's pulling the sword, again, his foot is on Soren's chest, so he can help hold him down steady.
Yeah, so he's just there like weakly screaming as the sword is pulled out. And after it's out, he he gets up and he's just. And he looks like he's about to like break down.
Francois,
I
thank you. Roll me medicine and add a guidance. 16.
16.
I'm gonna DM you something.
oh no.
Sure. Nothing bad has ever come from those words.
Nope, not at all. I knew something didn't seem right.
That was a ch-ldr-n ship. What are they doing here?
She joined them.
What?
Am I correct, Soren?
She didn't say much, but I think I know why.
And Valen will pass the paper over to Agthar. She had a recruitment poster.
Just fury just looks at this paper and just grips it tightly. She had this. She's. And he just looks over to where the ship was. And he just looks over at Soren. And he just doesn't say anything else. He just looks. He was furious, and then his eyes just soften when he looks at Soren.
Like Soren's like hugging himself super tightly as the blade that was like just buried in him is now just like kind of sat in front of him, and you can kind of hear him sobbing at the moment.
Agatha just hugs him. He just goes next to him. I don't think Agathar needs to kneel. He's so small. He just puts an arm around his shoulder. He doesn't hold him tightly to give him some space, but Agathar just puts a hand on his shoulder and looks to where the dropship was.
Seeing Agathar comforting Soren and Rensois doing first aid, Valen's going to approach Percival. Do you think we should inform Jalam at least? Them recruiting in Vitrium isn't a good sign.
Percy's unfortunately still the huge creature, so you can get down back off the mountain, but sure tilts her head at you, and then points down the mountain with her beak.
Rensois will kind of, it's like as she's administering first aid, and she'll kind of look to the side where there's a small bottle, and she'll kind of give it a hesitant sniff, looking between it and the wounds, and she'll kind of, well, on the plus side, spider venom shouldn't have any sort of lingering effects on you. So, good news. You shouldn't die.
It was wyvern venom, wasn't it?
She said wyvern venom.
I heard spider venom.
Misaki said wyvern venom.
Yeah, Misaki said wyvern.
Yeah.
Misaki said wyvern venom. Francois said spider venom.
Oh. But yeah, Soren's just like sitting there, like as Agathar puts his hand on his shoulder, Soren is like actively trembling right now, and he's just sitting there muttering to himself. He's like, "I should have come back sooner. I should have come back sooner. Why?"
Agathar just hugs him full hug. And just mutters, "You didn't know. You didn't know."
There's nothing saying you being here would have stopped this anyway.
Very minor aside. Valen, Agathar, both of you can roll me medicine or nature checks of your choice.
Nature, please. Nature's much better. Fuck.
God damn it, natural 20 just...
The both of you know that spider venom typically has an interesting quirk associated with it. It's known to stabilize people that it injures. And with that medicine check, Valen, you guys weren't able to get up here very quickly. It took you about a minute or so. But Soren should have theoretically bled out with that sword in his gut.
And if it was wyvern venom, you sure as shit would be dead.
Yeah, sure shit.
It'd have been a diamond short by now.
I think giant like bird Percy is kind of like stomping her feet and be like, "Rah!" pointing back down the mountain. Like, I can't hold this for long, and if we want to get back down in a timely fashion, now's the time to move.
All right,
So
everyone.
Renswall
let's go.
will kind of, she'll be like, it's like, come on, Valen, help me get him up onto Percy.
Yeah. And
They'll
Valen
kind
will
of-
help.
I'm not in the best of shape currently, so
Go
Sure,
ahead,
like-
Thorn, please.
Like when Soren, like when when Valen tries to get him up, Soren, like for the first time in his life, he actually just kind of like pushes Valen aside as he stands up on his own, and he seems like really inconsolable right now. Like he feels betrayed in one of the worst ways possible, and like to the point where for the first time in his life, he's not accepting help from anyone. And he walks over to the rock, just quietly and silently and slowly, just like occasionally like stifling a sob here and there.
Shad, question.
Soren does pick up the sword though.
No, Valen still has the sword.
Oh, Valen has still. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Shad, is the sheath anywhere around?
Yes, it is. It's over by the
Valen
cliff
will-
edge.
Then we'll go and grab it. And just sheath the blade.
I mean, Soren took the sword. You can hand him the sheath.
I thought that I saw the blade since I pulled it out of Soren and I didn't let it go.
Okay.
Yeah, so Valen would still have it.
Yeah, so Valen
Okay, then.
still has it.
So yeah, Valen will just grab the sheath the sword, and return back with the others.
The flight down the mountain to your carriage is silent. And snow begins to fall. Cold wind pulling at each of you. As ch-ldr-n has gained a very powerful new ally.
Once we reach the caravan and everyone starts separating, Valen will go off to the side and send a message to ch-ldr-n.
Which message?
Soren's Master Misaki has joined with ch-ldr-n. They're recruiting in Vitrium. We found a poster in Misaki's residence in the Copper Rest.
Your
We almost
response.
lost.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Almost lost Soren. Misaki left in one of their airships.
You hear back. Well, that is quite unfortunate. But nothing that can't be dealt with. Thank you for the information. We will handle things. Unless Soren wishes to.
He'll do another sending. I'll ask Soren, but right now he's not in the best of shape, mentally and physically. I'll keep you updated if we find anything else. I would ask for you to send some people who specialize in searching, but I don't think Soren is up for that.
We will do what we must. Make sure he gets a blanket and some warm coffee or something comforting.
And he'll just stare up at the sky and roughly in the direction that we saw the ch-ldr-n ship going off in. The road ahead is about to get a lot worse before it even starts to get better. And he just stares at the sword in his hand. When Soren regains some of himself. And you can pass it off to another player.
You can just hear, like, after you're talking to using the ascending spell, you just kind of hear like gentle shifting and crashing from the hut as Percy is turning it upside down and taking everything of value.
There's nothing of value.
Valen will yell out over at the hut. Or, nah, he won't.
There's stuff of value in there, maybe not of gold. I take the picture or statuette of a kitsune.
You take the fox statue. Okay.
Is
Take
mine
the
not?
cups.
I take the flatware, I take the spoons and the knives, I take any of her clothing, her fucking bells. I leave an empty home.
After a while, Valen will see Percival ransacking the hut. ch-ldr-n might send some people, so you might want to leave some things here, or at least the inventory of what you took.
Why?
I just never know. But
Well, if
ch-ldr-n is going to deal with it on her end.
you had the note thing, the pamphlet. She left on a transport. Seems pretty cut and dry to me. I suppose I will just be taking this for us.
Fair
I do mean us. Us. Not just me. Though the flatware is going in the kitchen.
Of course.
And she trundles past.
Okay.
There's a warm dinner to be made. And Percy and the unseen servants get to making a warm meal.
Soren,
What?
as
Yes.
you kind of wallow within your state of emotional duress, you hear words beginning to filter in. A prophecy half spoken. A knife in the back, a lesson to teach, a mentor turned traitor, a motive out of reach.
Like suddenly anybody that's around Soren sees him begin to scowl with a look of rage that you have never like a level of rage that you have never seen but on his face before.
And thus Soren gains a level in Barbarian.
Yeah, I mean, Agatha's not on his hip. He's making sure Soren has space to breathe, but like, he hasn't looked away from Soren, and he just sees this emotion that he's never really seen on Soren before. And he wants to say something, but he knows it won't help.
Are they in the caravan?
I think it's up to you. If you stormed into the caravan, that's up to you. But wherever you went, Agathar followed.
Yeah, he would have gone into his room,
Yeah.
and like he would have just gone straight to his room, like not even
Yeah.
like acknowledging anything. In fact, he probably wouldn't even show up for dinner. And he's in his room. Does Agathar follow him in there?
Not into with the door probably being slammed shut behind him, I think he doesn't follow him in. But if Soren doesn't show up for dinner, then Agathar will take a portion for Soren. And I think he would just ask permission to enter. That's just really just all he would message out. It's just like, I have food if you're hungry.
There's like about a good 15 seconds of silence before the door just like unlatches and just kind of like opens. He doesn't open it, but he just kind of like unlatches it and lets it swing open naturally. And when the door finally opens, he's in the center of his room, like in front of his Zen garden, just like apparently trying to meditate. But he's not wearing the same kimono and hakama that he normally does. Like all of that, including his hat, have been like thrown into a corner in the room, just like he just tore them off and just threw them in the corner. And he's basically wearing another set of clothes that he got a while back at the moment. So but he's just sitting there breathing heavily, and he doesn't really say anything.
Okay. He enters with the plates, and he just sets them on the bed, and he just kind of looks over it. If it's okay, if I can throw out an insight to be, would it be better for Soren if Agathar stayed but said nothing, or does he want to be fully alone?
He roll an insight. He doesn't really say anything. To the best of your knowledge, he looks like he just wants to be by himself.
Okay. Then he will look over to the pile of clothes where he threw off, and then just Agathar wordlessly goes to the door, and he goes to close the door behind him, but he stops, and then sort of just a little head turn to look at him, and then just, I meant what I said. And then he closes the door.
And Soren's kind of facing away from the door this whole time. Mm-hmm. And as you walk away, you probably saw the front. His hands are like in the gesture in the balance gesture, as he's like, it's very obvious he's damnedest to find balance right now. Mm-hmm. But he seems to be failing as his as his hands seem like really tense and like trembling, along with like his shoulders and his arms. Like he is not in a good place right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just silent the whole time. And the sword that Misaki impaled him with is in front of him, and Hidarida and Megiddo are behind him. As
Valen still has that sword.
Oh, Valen still has. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, for time being, essentially, Valen is holding on to the sword until either he thinks Soren is calm enough to get it, or something like that. Something similar happens. But for now, Valen is holding on to the sword.
All right, so in that case, his two blades would be like up on the stand. It would be up on the blade stand, and he just sits there, just taking deep, ragged breaths as he's like deep in thought and trying to really, really, really find a center. But this betrayal has kind of just like set him all completely off balance. And after Agathar closes the door, he just like his hands finally break free, and he just takes a deep breath, and he puts a hand on his forehead, and he says, just to nobody, he says, "I came to you for help. I was already losing balance. And what do I find? What do I frickin' find?" And that's basically all that he says.
The camera pans away, and a storm begins to brew. Seems as if that particular one will not work.
Well,
So while Shad's doing that, paranoia. What do you say? Something was off from that whole thing.
I never understand this.
So bitch.
Hey, what's to be done, eh? He will pick himself up by the bootstraps eventually.
Eventually, but now things are taken for a turn. I do not think Vitrium can stay neutral in this war for
No,
much longer.
it will not. But
It was only a matter of time, though. I would have hoped that the country had a bit more of it.
we will
But if
have
it's
some
war
part
that
of it.
ch-ldr-n wants, it will find itself that. Well, I don't think it will want war quite as much as they think they do.
I think it is time to stop focusing on some things and start focusing more on others.
Like what? What, do you intend to join the war effort?
No. Similar. Think back to our actions in Deepwood. We took many distractions with the raid and all that, instead of focusing on the tower. Small things like that.
we did the raid so we can get information from Drolam's kid about the tower. We didn't do it for no reason.
And let's
There was
only and little information it gave us.
How would you know? How would you have known that there was little information without going after it?
Either way, small things like that, I think we need to not focus on. But that is just my thoughts on it.
Gathering the information on Deepwood was not a small thing. We assumed we were getting information from someone who had bested the tower. That is not small. The information we got but that was valuable in its own way. You can't speak about something that came up to be a dud because it was a dud in hindsight.
And we gained favor from a very influential person.
Yeah, we
True.
essentially have the use of a skyship on command. Once.
With a free airstrike. Yes.
Yeah. But my thoughts are just that. Just thoughts.
Yes, well, Percy presses her hand to the orb at the center of the dinner table. Let's just continue on for the moment. Much has happened. It is better to keep one's eyes at their feet and continue forward than to gasp at the whole picture and remain still.
I agree. And Agathor just stands up and walks to the basement.
Kind of leans over to make sure you're not like there isn't any sand tracked up from downstairs before the caravan lurches a little bit. The interior kind of like shifts just ever so slightly under your feet as we begin moving again towards the next stop.
So I think Renswall would also, like at some point, a little bit later, wander to Soren's room and also knock on the door.
There's almost no answer. Or there's actually like no answer. He doesn't.
He doesn't what? Your
He
mic cut.
doesn't. Oh, he doesn't respond. Like he just like you knock on the door. There's no answer.
She'll test to see if it's unlocked.
It's not locked.
She'll just kind of crack the door open and look in. Soren.
He's in the same spot that Agathar found him, just like in a kneeling position, with his arms in front, like facing away from the door, like facing the Zen garden. And also like Agathar, Renswall will notice that he's not in his typical like kimono and hakama. Like all of that's still thrown off into the corner of the room, and the hat like looks broken. Like there was a significant amount of force that it was thrown with. And
Has the food been touched at all?
No.
And she will let out a sigh and kind of pick up the food and bring it closer to him, and she'll kind of sit down beside him and kind of sit in a meditative stance with him. And she will be quiet for a while and just sit there with him.
Like in his, like you've probably seen him in his meditative pose, where with like his hands interlocked at the pinky and the ring finger, and but his hands are shaking, and the pointer and middle fingers aren't straight like they aren't straight like they normally are. They're kind of like trembling as well, and they'll start shaking a little bit more, and then he'll just like his hands will break apart, and he'll just like kind of like pound his hand into the floor. Just go, "Fuck." And then he looks over and sees Rensois there, and just like looks down and then up and goes, "Gods, I'm still getting used to you being as tall as you are. Sorry."
You and me both. And she'll kind of break from the meditative stance a little bit and kind of turn and look to him with it's both somewhat of a knowing but like kind of a soft, almost motherly look as she'll look. I imagine a lot is going through your mind right now. A lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of betrayal. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to feel those things. Finding balance is about accepting all of your feelings, not just suppressing the negative ones. What I will say is that while one person may have betrayed you, she is not the only person you have anymore that you have to rely on, to lean on. You have a family here to support you, a family here that will support you, a family that will help you get the answers that you no doubt seek from her.
As Francois says this, he begins to, like, his breathing begins to kind of intensify when she mentions the family, and he hangs his head almost in shame, and he says, "You're right. You're right, of course. I have questions. I have feelings of hurt. I feel betrayed. But I
She'll
think
kind of, as he's talking, she'll just kind of reach over and kind of just gently pull him to her side.
like he kind of like freezes at this on the moment and like at him for a moment because he wasn't expecting it. And he says, but I think the worst part is that she left me with so many questions. Questions that I don't think she'll answer. She tried to kill me, Ren.
I don't think that's quite the case. You mentioned she said wyvern venom, right?
She said wyvern venom.
And then she took off with the ch-ldr-n soldiers, assuming they were leaving you for dead.
They took something else. I don't know what it was. It was just a box. But other than that, that was pretty much what it was.
And yet it wasn't wyvern's venom.
He.
It was
Sorry,
it was spider's venom. Something that would paralyze and stabilize you. And then she lied to the ch-ldr-n soldiers to have you leave them, to have them leave you there. No doubt she knew that we would come to the mountaintop once we realized something was going on.
He stops and thinks about this, and his breathing stabilizes at that point. Like he's no longer like the feelings of hurt and betrayal aren't as intense as they were before, but you can still kind of see that they're there. And he and he like he turns to look at Francois and says, "What? It was spider's venom?"
Dearie, I've spent basically my entire life in the bramble. I've dealt with plenty of spiders, and, well, you're well aware of how Master Mel goes about her training. I've ingested plenty of it myself.
Is Soren's heart?
Usually not by choice.
More
Is it Soren?
accurately,
Is
more
Soren's heart?
accurately, sorry, more accurately, she stabbed you with it because venom doesn't work if you ingest it.
Well, yeah, injected, but same
Potato,
difference.
potato.
So, is Soren's heart still like black from the poison, or does that only happen in the morning?
It's still black from the poison because it's still affecting you. Like,
Okay.
it's still
Oh, yeah.
drained your max.
She would very much recognize Master Mel's training methods.
Yeah, but yeah, Soren would like, he's no longer wearing his kimono. He's just like wearing kind of like a plain shirt. I think this was like the outfit that he got for the battle against the dancers, because he bought that to not have his kimono damaged during that whole time. But he'll be like, I'm familiar too, and he lifts up his shirt showing her his heart that's currently like the color black.
Been there, done that, trust me.
Mm.
But she'll kind of like, she's still got him like wrapped in the kind of like like a looser side hug as he kind of pulled away to show, but she's still got like a hand like draped on his shoulder.
My biggest worry is, sorry, go ahead.
It will, I suppose, she would be the only one to answer how far this goes. Maybe she's playing the long con and tricking ch-ldr-n. Or maybe she has sided with them. But one thing that cannot be denied is that she very intentionally let you live. Not only let you live, but also made sure that ch-ldr-n would not take your life in her stead.
He breathes.
So
he takes a deep breath and goes, and like it's
there's
almost like a
some,
relieved breath. Sorry, go ahead.
how far it goes, I cannot say, but at the very least, it is apparent to me that she does care for you.
So yeah, he takes a deep breath and like almost a relieved breath, like that's a huge load off his shoulders, and he says, "I maybe you're right, but she had mentioned that there are those out there that are capable of doing much more than swing a blade, and I think that's why because ch-ldr-n is the ones going after magic users, right? Do we know this? I forget.
Yes.
Okay.
That's general world knowledge.
Okay.
They are not
But-
subtle.
Yeah. So, well, no, they're not subtle. I'm just trying to remember if Soren has actually encountered this or heard about it.
It's
he-
something
but
that you
yeah.
heard about from Master Mel, is that ch-ldr-n is invading and they're killing mages and magic users.
Yeah. So yeah, he's going to say, I think if what she said had anything to do with it, then she knows that there are those out there that can turn a samurai's blade against other people. Maybe that's what she's fighting against. But damn it, Sensei, there are other ways.
We can postulate a whole bunch of whys and what ifs and what fors. She's the only one who can answer those questions. It'll do you no good sitting there and worrying about them. And it will also do you no good, as she kind of hefts over the plate in front of him, to go without dinner.
Oh, should I?
You will not find the answers you seek on an empty stomach.
Food is for the weak.
I was about to say something really mean.
So,
What not eating will do, as she will like kind
oh
of like
god.
pat his head,
Roll
is
an
make the
insight.
rest of us worry.
Roll an insight.
Oh boy. 13.
Yeah. Oh, that was impossible for you to fail it anyways. So he looked like he was about to do something else at that moment, but he stops himself. And he's kind of trying to play it off, and he then like pulls the dinner plate closer to him, and he says, You're right. I should keep my strength up. I'm going to need it when I confront her." And make no mistake, I will be confronting her about this.
Well, and she will kind of again like pat on the head and then kind of rest like wrapping an arm like around his shoulder and kind of pulling him back into the side hug. Again, you don't have to confront her alone.
I feel like I do, but I suppose that's a bridge we'll cross when we get to it. And he slowly, almost timidly, like puts his arm around her shoulder and returns the side hug. But there's a bit of timidness in there. Probably not for a reason that Rensois could tell.
Are you saying another insight roll?
How would
That's
we?
what I'm hearing. Eh? Eh?
I'm trying to figure out how I would depending on. Yeah, roll an insight.
Oh, fuck.
Natural
This one
one!
doesn't know shit.
The dice tell stories.
I will say a natural one is not an immediate failure. If a 5 would get something, you could get something still.
Also, I'm tempted to give advantage because how long have Soren and Rensois been traveling together?
That's true.
It's
That
up
is
to you
true.
if she gets advantage or not. I mean, I have no control over that.
Alright, so there seems to be something Soren is hiding and trying to keep out of this hug. Like you can tell that there's like Rensois could probably tell with a 26 that he is withholding something and is trying very hard not to let it show. And at that point he quickly unwraps his arm around from around her and picks up his plate and says, "I should probably join the family for supper, eh?"
Well, I won't tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but
I don't want him to think I died in here, he says weakly.
I say she'll kind of give like a half cheeky grin. It's fine. We have the clones, remember? We would just pick you back up from Mouse.
And a cleric.
And a necromancer.
Dying is nearly impossible in this party.
You can't escape us that easily, Soren.
Dying is cringe, and we are based.
Soren kind of stands up and his smile drops and he says, I was wanting to die in here, to be honest, after that. But I'm glad I didn't.
She'll kind of groan a bit as she stands herself up because she's still not great. I forget how many exhaustion I have now, if it's been 3 days.
It's just the one permanent exhaustion.
Okay.
Like the moment she gets to her feet, he just goes, my goodness, you're tall now. Maybe a slight mummy? No, I'm just kidding.
In the back
She'll
of his
just-
mind. Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry.
She'll just kind of roll her eyes. We'll both get used to it, probably. But, well, your family's glad you didn't die in here too. So, why don't we go let them know that you're still alive? Last thing I need to do is listen to Valen complain about having to spend another diamond.
He kind of grins and chuckles and he goes, I find it a little bit humorous that when one of us dies, that's the biggest inconvenience. Is whether is the use of the diamonds, and he just kind of starts like laughing lightly.
They ain't cheap. You hear in the back of your heads, they ain't cheap.
But you are.
So
I have learned a skill from Mel.
So the two of you just kind of like share a nice moment between yourselves, and you eventually leave Soren's room, and the two of you join the rest of the family at dinner.
And
Soren-
that.
Soren, you will note that Valen is the one who is holding your sword. It still has that ribbon bandana attached to it.
And no, Aggie ate like half of his food and then is gone.
Oh, you didn't hang out? You left?
No, he went immediately like to the training area.
Oh, that's right. I suppose Percy is having an actual conversation with Valen.
Please
So,
do have.
how about that weather?
How about those raiders, though? I hear they're good this season.
There might actually be a conversation that like Percy would actually have while alone with Valen.
Well, go for it. You're alone. Have that conversation. Please, I beg of you. Interact.
There's just this moment where she's drinking, I'm assuming some kind of alcohol. It's her house. As the two of them are sat at the table. I don't believe we talk very often.
No, neither do I. But I'm not so good with words.
That we agree on. Though I feel I may not put this across in most of our conversations because the way you act is infuriating sometimes. But if it means anything, I am on your side. When it comes to people trying to pry and make you remember things you do not wish to.
Thank you. It's good to have someone in your corner now and again, but I do understand why people do such a thing.
Oh, they want you to grow or come to terms with it, but forgetting intentionally in such a way is a choice in itself. One not made very lightly.
That indeed is true. Now, the people may push and push. It is the person whose path it is to go after its choice, whether to or not.
I hope you would relish that luxury. Not everyone has it.
A little bits more that I learn. More tempting it is, but in the end, I know that something, as I have said before, are not worth looking into for the past.
If that is how you feel. I ever told you I once met a immortal woman out in Viore?
No. In our few conversations, that has never came up.
I don't talk about myself or things I have seen or done much. Though, I find myself comfortable in the moment.
Understandable.
There is a woman who lived not terribly far from where I was trained formerly, whose home sits alone in the pastures and plains that stretch throughout Viore. A peculiar fence made of swords and a pension for going quiet for long stretches of time. She had some kind of dealing with my master. So, I was privy to one or two occasions where I accompanied her to visit this woman. Didn't say very much. Looked like death. Scraggly, long, greasy hair, depressing face. But apparently she is absolutely invulnerable. And I imagined with that appearance, she is absolutely sick of it. But she's touted like some kind of hero. On the one or two occasions she lifted a finger for anyone but herself. Unfortunately, I was not privy to very much in these conversations. So, I only thought it interesting, as it seems many people have not had the luxury of meeting the legend that
The legend of what?
Yeah, cut out there, Percy.
Legend of Zelda? Ah,
Screw that. Legend of Link.
I'd play that game.
Easy
It
bells
seems
of
you-
the I to the end to the K. Where's types every day? Don't even care what you say. Got bigger.
Seems even the internet doesn't want Phelan to learn anything.
No.
Apparently not. Oh,
Oh,
Devin.
Can you go the entire campaign with no character development?
Oh,
It
they're
would
back.
be-
No, they're definitely good.
It would be
Oh, they're back.
interesting.
Where is he?
Don't you worry. I will drag Valen kicking and screaming through his character development.
Hello? Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Hi.
It would be an achievement to go through an entire campaign with no development.
You cut
So
off
what
a
was the
little
thing yeah, where did I cut off?
bit.
The Legend of.
The Legend of.
Yeah, not many are privileged to have met the so-called legend that walks the stretching green pastures of Viore. There isn't very much to her. Kind of leans back. This is when you share a story.
I don't have.
Nope. Sorry, Bob. It's all out of stories.
Yeah. Stories I have are not as interesting.
I don't think that was a very interesting story on my part, honestly. I threw you a softball.
Just my upbringings are mostly full of paranoia from Mel. Every now and then, doing small reconnaissance around the edge of the bramble, dealing with minor bramblings that attempted to wander out of its designated location.
I see. So you're saying I'm the most interesting thing that's happened to you thus far?
Yes, one could say that.
I'll remember this. And I'll use it for later.
You see in the corner, Percival approves.
Good of me to take you from your boring, drab life.
Yes. It is a change of pace.
From standing still to walking or jogging? Yes, I would agree.
Nah, there's not much horror in this adventure we're having.
Hey, Valen, Bob, check your DMs real quick.
Chuckles, you're in danger.
At what point did the other two start making their way down?
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
around this point, in
they-
time, I would say. Valen, finish though.
Valen would continue by going. Possibly the most recent story that comes to mind was brought forth during my journey alone within the Wandering Woods recently.
Ah, you mean when you abandoned us?
Yes, abandoned, took a walk.
A walk is normally a few hours, maybe a night, not a week and a half.
It's the Wandering Woods.
So that's the name of the forest, not the intent behind the actions.
I was gonna come back, but the Wandering Woods seem to have gone to grapple on me first.
Sure. Go on.
And he'll just recount the dream that he had. It's not.
I'm gonna talk about being attacked and then being saved.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't
No,
want to be
no,
that
no, the necroplague dream.
Oh, yeah.
Necroplague. It's a good. Damn, is that?
It's a extremely rare disease that comes once in a while.
I don't
The-
believe it would have the prefix plague if it was rare.
It mostly comes in to small villages deep within the woods.
Well, that's horrible.
Yes, plague that turns the living into sentient undead for a time
I
before
was
mindless.
I was so hoping you were going to say it turns the living to the dead. I would have agreed most diseases do this. Most swords do it as well. Amazing how that works. No, but it sounds like an uncomfortable experience.
It's also amongst the first of my missions I was asked to do if I was outside of the purview of the Wandering Woods and Bramble.
Hmm.
Fun fact about that plague, Valen, that you would know. At its peak, the person's basically trapped inside their mind as it goes about its regular business as if it were a mindless undead.
Yes, terrible.
Mm-hmm. He would bring that up.
Thank you for sharing this perfectly horrible story. I was hoping for something more lighthearted. But who was I to assume from the cleric of the Mistress of Death?
As I said, I have no peaceful stories.
I'm sure you do. You just don't remember them.
Quite possibly, but that is one of the, as you said, it's softball stories.
Fair. Fair. That is when the other two join in.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh, look who is here. Come to join us to eat, I say. You've missed Agathar. He shoveled his food down his craw and then skittered down into the basement, hopefully to make a sandcastle and not spread it all over the place.
Or did Rensois force you to come at the mercy of the shillelagh?
I believe they would be behind them with said shillelagh if that were the case.
Yeah, like at this point, Percival and Valen would notice that Soren's not in his usual getup.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so just saying that they would probably notice it at this point because he's been up in his room this whole time. So he's gonna sit down with his plate.
And we're in the carriage. People change accordingly.
You know, Soren, I was just telling Valen about a story of the legend of the legendary swordswoman of Veore.
What was her name?
Abigail, the invulnerable. She lived not far from where my master dwelled.
He looks down like he still seems a little like lost, but this does seem to register, and he goes, "Are you?" And then with like a slight smile, he says, "Are you suggesting I take up another mentor?"
Oh no, not that one at least. I do not think a master who is behoove of harm would be someone you would want to take lessons from, as I regularly heard tales of her walking onto swords to kill her enemies. Not something I believe you would walk away from.
No, I'm not as sturdy as most fighters are. I resort to just not being there.
Yeah, no, she was a depressing sight. The once or twice I actually had the privilege of laying eyes on her.
He then he's about to take like a bite of his meal, and then he stops and puts the fork back on his plate, and he goes, "I'm sorry that I just avoided everybody.
Honestly, it's good to see you so soon. I did make a meal, hoping you would want to eat at least some of it, whether with us or in your room.
At first I didn't, but my family sister here, and he like nods over to Renswa, convinced me otherwise.
She is good at that. She Percy smiles to Renswa.
And no shillelaghs were involved. So I can involve one with the side of your head if you need me to. As she'll look over at Valen.
I would welcome the sight of it. Purely for my entertainment, if that is the case.
So Soren finally takes a bite of his meal, and afterwards he just like he smiles and goes, "It's delicious as always."
I look over to Valen as I smirk in your direction. Could I see that for a moment? Motioning to the sword he has.
He'll lift it up and pass it over.
Didn't this have a bell on it before?
It did, but she replaced it with her headband. She has the bell still around her head.
She undoes the headband and looks at it.
She didn't put it around her head.
I've
She
oh,
pocketed
she
the
replaced.
bell.
Okay.
She replaced the bell with her headband and then just walked off with the bell.
Okay, I misunderstood it. I misunderstood. All right.
I look at the headband.
Well, you look at the headband. It is a long pink ribbon with a cream-colored tail to it.
Nothing remarkable about it?
No. Not from what you can see, at the very least.
Is it one that Soren has noticed her wearing a lot when he was training with her?
No. It's actually one that she had hung up above that fox shrine in her house.
Could I make like an investigation check or something to try and get? She's confused as to why she would go through the trouble of taking the bell off and put something and replace it with something.
I would say you can roll a history check. It would be Soren that would have to roll an insight check on that.
Well, that suits me just fine. That's a 21 suit you.
This ribbon is... You have advantage, Soren. Keep that in mind.
Bam.
Let's fucking go. There it is.
You cut the ribbon in half.
Yeah, right.
Just with his look.
Shing!
So, with a 21 history check, you get the feeling that you recognize this ribbon's appearance, or at least you recognize what it's reminiscent of, and it's related to that play that you were reading. And this particular ribbon is actually very reminiscent of the same ribbon that would be on those tail blades that those two figures found and then had dismantled. Let me finish.
Her eyes glitter.
Let me finish a second. As for that insight check, Soren, that ribbon, that bandana that she's given you, is a challenge. She has basically planted it down and has said, "This is your final exam. Come find me and take that bell."
Meanwhile, Percy's like looking at it and her eyes are glittering. Do you know what this is?
Soren has just like a almost deadpan look on his face, so like one of just like pure determination. And his head doesn't move, but his eyes go to meet Percival's, and he says, "Aye, it's a challenge."
What? No. This is a relic. Something, she wiggles her finger, that Smith created. Something that belongs to her. You know what this means?
It could be a replica.
Oh, it could be a replica. Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knew?
I don't.
He goes, "Well, that might be, but all I know about it right now is meant by having it tied around."
Sorry, Soren, you're going to need to re-say that again.
Am I cutting out?
Yep.
It was a
Just a little
very, very small cutout.
All right, hold on. So he says, I don't know the history behind it. All I know is what she meant by placing it on that blade. It's a challenge, one that I had planned to make her when I found her.
Oh. Well, I apologize. It does bring us closer to the Smith, possibly to save those two. Speaking of saving those two, she slides the blade over to you. You have someone to wake.
I do. Valen's letter had the sword, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes, I think another member of the family needs to have her dinner, eh? And he goes back up to fetch fetch both Migidan down.
Okay. You go and you fetch them both, and the further you bring them down, the closer that they get to the one sword, the more Hidari seems to vibrate in your hands. You would actually note that earlier, while you were in that state of unbalance, neither of them were shaking. One of those things of like a respectful silence, if that makes sense. But now that you have that determination in you, you are making your way down, and you can feel the vibration begin to kick fully into effect. I have a question for you. What
Might have an answer.
What do you want to do with the bandana?
Percy has it. She doesn't look to be letting it go.
Well, if Percival's not letting it go, then
You have to. If you ask her for it, she'll give it to you. But she's like, I don't need it for later when we try attempting to locate this person.
yeah. But the first thing he's going to do, he's not going to do anything with the bandana right now. Hidari snack.
You cut a little bit out again.
Yeah.
It's
I think our
okay.
ping's pretty high.
My ping is fine? Question mark.
Hold on, I'm gonna disconnect and reconnect. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Technical.
Okay, hopefully this is better.
All right. So, say again. You cut out at what you were doing with the ribbon specifically.
He's not doing anything with the ribbon yet. First, he's going to let Hidari have. Well, no, he'll look at Percival and go, "May I see that ribbon, please?"
Just it needs to remain whole
Of
for the
course,
spells to work. So take care of it.
of course.
Not that I don't assume you could or could not, but we need it for later. He passes it to you.
And he takes it and like takes a layer of his long platinum hair and lifts it up over his head, and he ties the bandana around his head and cinches it, and then lets the hair fall over it. And then he takes Hidari-da and draws it from the sheath and places it on the other blade.
All right.
Using his left hand, of course, not his right hand.
The two blades thrum with energy as the other blade loses all luster it once held and cracks down the middle before turning into dust as Hidari-da glows green. And you feel another consciousness caress along your own, a light brushing, as if something was stirring within it. And then there is a long, drawn-out yawn from within, before there's like this smacking of lips within your head, and you hear, "That was a good nap. I'm glad that I was asleep. I'm awake now, though. It's great. It's nice." Oh!
Almost to himself, Soren just goes, "Welcome back to the land of the wake."
Oh, there's a new person here. Wow, that's cool. That's real cool. Yeah. And from Migi you hear, "Oh, it's her. Oh, it's my sister." And with that, as you feel kind of like the two of them connect in the mental space, the image in your head of Migi kind of like running and tackle hugging a waking Hidari into her own bed again. I think that is a good place to end this session.
I just met Hidari, and if anything happens to her, I'll kill everybody and then myself.
Can I do one more thing, real quick?
Sure.
Just real quick.
Sure.
So Soren's going to smile at this, and he's going to sit down and finish his meal. And once it's finished, he's going to actually go downstairs with both of his blades and a new look of renewed determination on his face. What's Agathar doing down there?
Sandcastles.
Agathar is going... He is training at full blow. You actually get to see Bell 3.0 first.
We will do that.
We'll hold
next
on to
session.
that, but
you
yeah,
said
we'll do that
small
next.
things, Soren.
Small thing.
Well, I know,
I'm not
but
gonna. Yeah, I'm
like
not gonna
Soren-
describe her, but go for it.
like Soren was just gonna be like, "Hey, Agathar, you need a training partner?" And then he pops both of his blades out of his sheaths and gets ready to train.
So, out of curiosity, what is the magical bonus on both your weapons?
By a magical bonus, you mean the
Like
attack?
Yeah,
the attack bonus
the attack bonus on both of them.
+2. They're +2s.
Okay, so they both remain +2s, but Hidari now has the ability to bypass resistances and immunities.
Fuck yes.
Bring it friggin' on, Raymir.
So
Raymir is gonna get his fucking fade run.
These two blades also got another upgrade to artifact level.
Nice.
I'm assuming they still need to be attuned, right? Do they both count as one attunement, or?
They both count as one attunement. They are a paired blade. But basically, these weapons, because of their new status, ignore the effects of an anti-magic field.
Oh, Ramir's
Yeah.
about to fucking get it.
So they're artifacts.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what I
artifacts
just
now.
said.
That's what he just said.
Yeah, they're artifact level now.
Yep.
It's hooked.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
But
I
basically,
feel bad having those because I figured Agathar would want them more than for dealing with Ramir.
But
No,
basically,
bro, you need it.
But basically, it's like this. So, your right blade can just like OTK people. Your left blade is just gonna bypass any resistances or immunities they have. This also includes if you apply a oil or a resin to your offhand weapon, and whatever is resistant or immune to that resin would normally be resistant or immune to it. It just ignores that too. So.
Neat.
So,
That's
hol-
very
so
good.
so holy weapon attached to Hidari means it can hit Celestials with radiant damage.
Man, too bad I tossed out that purple worm poison.
And that's your final upgrade for the entire campaign.
No, and 1 + 3. I'm just kidding.
More
That's a
friends.
That's a
More
step too
talking
far.
weapons.
That's a step too far. No.
He's gonna become Zoro next.
Yes.
I
The
need a
sword to-
third sword.
The
Hey,
sword would
Hidari,
take
have
all
you
the
heard of-
weapons.
now Migita has a fucking accomplice. I'm like, hey Hidari, have you ever heard of a fanfic?
What?
And you just help writing.
No, man. Like, just chill.
+3.
Just
I'm just kidding.
chill. But I hope you guys enjoyed this session. I hope you liked the little scene I did.
It was very
Hey.
good.
If we would have gotten there when the ship was still roughly in range, I was ready to drop a fifth.
Yeah, I
of the
wasn't-
spell.
Yeah, because I wasn't sure when we would be like, I didn't want to just like slam myself into the scene, so I was like letting it play out. But like the moment that, however, like they saw or heard the engine, Agatha was like full bore going towards the
Hey.
mountain.
I mean,
Yeah, no, like it's one of those things where it's like even full bore going towards the top of the mountain. There's like 2-3 minutes of getting up there, even with flying.
Yeah, but still, that's not gonna stop.
It was more than enough time for that ship to not only load in its cargo but leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, if we would have gotten there sooner, as they were still roughly within range, I would have called in air support.
They probably would have fucked it up. Honestly.
At any rate,
Probably.
say goodbye to the YouTube audience. We will be sticking around for a post-stream afterwards. But, Agathar, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye. They hurt my boy.
Percival, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.
Francois, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.
Soren, say goodbye to the people.
I have a new toy. I mean, goodbye.
I have new trauma. I'm gonna do toy.
Vaylin,
A new
say
toy
goodbye
mod.
to the people.
Toy mod.
Goodbye, everyone. And I just reread Warding Bond, and I had that shit prepared too.
Ah, yes. Anyway,
It,
you guys. Anyway, from all and bye from me, your humble dungeon master. Remember, you can catch us live on Twitch every Tuesday at 5:30 CST or Central Standard Time, PM. That is. And if you don't catch us live on Twitch, you can always catch the VOD the very next day at the same time on Wednesday. If you want to enjoy an ad-free Twitch experience, by all means, check us out there. And lastly, from all of us to all of you, remember to like, subscribe, hit the fave buttons and whatnot, and we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.